Hey all, Kurt Sasso here from TGT Media, the entertainment industry interview podcast, where we interview the creative minds from the comic, film, music, and game publishing industry. And of course, I just said my name's Kurt. So we are joined today by a very talented parent, as well as a comic creator. She has a wonderful style, a wonderful black and white comic that I know everyone will know and love. I'm going to let her say the name of the title, but first let me introduce, of course, it's Sharean Morishita. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Now, I believe you said to me it was called Love, Love, Fighting was the name of your comic.
Yes, Love, Love, Fighting.
And what is it all about?
Well, my story, it's about a heavyset young woman who will be dealing with the reality issues that all females deal with, which is being career-oriented and also juggling hidden burdens and stress of not measuring up to society's standards of beauty. And that's why I have, to kind of further stress that, I have Oriana coming to South Korea. And also to kind of throw in a little bit of humor, I have her participating in the different game shows because I've always had a fascination with the South Korean game shows. So this will help me to further stress about the importance of, being yourself, loving who you are, and then, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So that's all this story is basically about, is beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Now, when you first started putting this comic together here, was it an obsession of Korean game shows that you wanted to do something similar for your comic, or? Well,
actually, I was really obsessed with the Japanese culture, and we would watch. All of a sudden, we found these comedy variety shows in Japanese, and then somehow I found some Korean ones, an old one I remember is Real Romance Love Letter. That one really influenced me a lot with my story, Love, Love, Fighting. So, but it's just weird how I got there. It went from Japanese culture and then switched to Korean culture. My husband, he's more interested in the Japanese culture, but right now I'm just crazy about the Korean culture. I love the style of clothing, the traditional style of clothing, the way that the language speaks. So I'm just having a lot of fun with it. And I guess it is kind of my new obsession.
Well, that's good. Now you're a parent of children, obviously. You're happily married, I can tell. And you're also, and also the fact that you have a wonderful obsession with the Japanese/Asian culture, which I love as well. So I finally kindred spirits. That's wonderful.
See, it is weird. I found a lot of people around me. It's how to explain it. It's like you're in a school and you don't really know other people that might be interested in that. And when you bring it up first, then they're like, "Oh yeah, I love reading comics." Or, "Oh, I love manga." I didn't know you knew about that. This is awesome. So I'm now starting to realize that, even some people at my church, I never would have thought that they might have watched Naruto. One of the women there, she was like, "Oh, Kakashi Sensei," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you know who that is?" So it's weird, the people that you meet and the people who you connect with. It's fascinating, but it's also weird at the same time.
Now, you obviously you touch upon the whole fact of beauty is in the eye, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, if I can talk properly here. And obviously that's a huge aspect when it comes to comics, because we have society in general has a very narrow viewpoint of characters as it is. And I'm glad that you're taking the time to step out of that generic mold that everyone goes to do something with a strong female character in Oriana as well.
Yeah, I know some of the comments that I've gotten. I first started the comic out in manga apps. They had two comic competitions. The first one I participated in. I got second place. The second one they gave more themes, and I chose the beauty is in the eye of the beholder theme. And I've gotten comments where after, they judged it and I posted it online, I've gotten comments where people would tell me how they were touched or how happy they were to find a comic about a girl who's actually heavyset and who's heavyset throughout the whole comic. She doesn't find a potion that makes her skinny and then she gets the guy. She's just herself. And I was really touched by those kind of comments because I know with myself, I've always had issues, like self-conscious issues with my weight. Like when I was younger, I used to be like 150 or so. I was like 5'7", so I was like skinny and tall, and I would get picked on like about that. So it's weird, but I had I was like self-conscious of that. I used to be called like stick and whatever. Then like I got older, had 3 kids, and I've gotten like, I'm on like the other side of the fence now. So it's like you're dealing with just like both of them. And this story really helps me to vent out my frustration and also to encourage other people, because I know there's a lot of girls that beat themselves up or damage themselves worse instead of, trying to get to the goal they're trying to get. And that's being strong and I guess being healthy. It's like a whole big thing. So, but this story, it's very, very deep to my heart right now.
Well, that's great to see. And you have a couple of characters that interact with Rhea as well. I believe it's her sister is in the initial part of it there that drags
it's her cousin. It's her cousin. A lot of people, they say, oh, that's her friend, or they don't really realize that they're related, because I guess since she's just basically like lighter skin or just white, it's hard to show like caramel skin color with tones, so it's like I just have her white. So but they're actually cousins, and I haven't really revealed it in the story yet how how Oriana is related to Krista yet, but they're cousins.
Now, would that be something that a family member would do to you, is like drag you to an airport and just throw you on an airplane? Because I mean that was just crazy. I love that.
Yeah. Well, how do I? There's been they wouldn't really do that. I did have an incident to where my family, they would be sneaky in like a different kind of way. Like for example, a small one. My hair used to be like a lot longer than this, and my sisters, they were like, oh, you should cut it. It will look so cute if you cut it. And so they're, oh, okay, let's cut it. And so they ended up cutting it, and it was like really short. And then like later on, I find out, later on they end up saying like they were just upset how long it was, and they wanted me to just go ahead and cut it. So it's kind of like an extreme part. I've had sneaky members. I just kind of, for comical reasons, I made it a little bit more extreme. So I don't think they would take me to Korea, but they would trick me into cutting my hair, because they're upset about that.
Now, as long as they don't do that with baked goods, that's crossing the line right there. I mean.
Yeah, if anything, I'll probably be the one that'll trick them with the baked goods, because I'm a baked in the family, so.
You just happen to slip some, you mix up the chocolate chips with the X-Lax. It happens,
Yeah, it's a little secret ingredient.
Well, cooking aside, when it comes to this comic here, have you been to any conventions yet?
I've actually been to my first one back in 2012. It was a one-day convention. It was Iowa Icon. So, and it was in downtown Des Moines, so it was a lot easier for me to go to that when I could just have my husband watch the kids for like a day, and then I can come right back. But Iowa Comic Book Convention, I believe.
Okay, and so was that in a hotel downtown type deal? You just kind of walked in?
No, it was actually in the All Place Center. I was fascinated by it. I'm sure there's other people who like big extravagant hotels. I've never been to those ones, but it was really nice, really small, and they had like the artists in this like brightly lit room. I decided to buy a silver kind of shiny tablecloth, because I wanted to stand out from other people. Yeah, I'm here. So the bad thing about that was that the windows were so big that the light shined through, so it was hitting like the tablecloth and blinding my eyes, and then like people across me was like, oh my gosh. So it was kind of embarrassing on that end, but it was still a really good experience to go to a comic book convention for like my first time ever, even though I'm like 25. Other people have gone to comic conventions at a younger age, but this was just like blew my mind. I was so amazed. I have another one scheduled actually to go to in Davenport, Anime Zing in May. So I'm really excited for that one too.
Now, do you have a book yet published or?
We sold them all out. I wanted to hold it up like this, but they all sold out. So it's good thing, bad thing. I don't have it to show, but they sold out and I'm happy.
But, well, you're going to have to get another batch for this next convention, though. I mean...
Yeah, I actually want to do the volume. I want to finish, like, the whole volume. I think I have 6 chapters prepared for in the script, and I want to print that out, get that ready for that comic convention. There's a couple of art prints I want to print out, too, but my main focus is going to be just on, like, the books and bookmarks and maybe, like, some not safety pins, some pins that people can buy, so... But that is my plan. I've been trying to work on that throughout the week, but with the kids, it's been I had to do it like a ninja style. Like when they're sleeping, I have to like secretly draw on my sin tweak.
What you need to do is start recruiting them to help you.
That would be good too. I mean, they give me stories. They give me a lot of stories, so they do help in that kind of way, like the things that they do.
Oh, I meant child labor.
Oh.
But yeah, stories are good as well. Well then, when you're at that convention in Des Moines, you obviously had a group of people coming through, looking at your stuff, you know. How did you pitch your comic to them, or how did you approach them from a business standpoint?
Oh boy, I was so nervous then. I was just, I don't really think I did a very good job. I was just so nervous, and then I was chattering, and then I was stumbling over my words. So my sister, I had her thankfully next to me, so she was kind of trying to like nudge me, telling me like, say this, say that, you know, slow, you know, just trying to like, you know, calm down. But when I get around comics, I get really excited. So I don't really think I handled it the most professional way because I was a little bit over emotional because I was so excited. Like at one point I told a lady, I was like, I'm about to cry because she bought my book. So, but I think I was at least able to talk to some of the artists next to me and kind of get a feel of like, of the comic convention, like lifestyle, but business-wise, I don't think I handled it very well. So hopefully this next one will be better training for me.
So are you going to bring the shiny tablecloth this time around?
Yes, unfortunately, because one of the convention con goers had said that they had noticed my table right away. So that even though I felt like nobody, you know, really noticed me because I would have like people either walk past my table or they would walk past my table looking one direction and they'll walk past looking that same direction as if they were avoiding me. So I was like, oh my gosh, why aren't you looking at my stuff? So, but it's fine. I just sat there, tried to keep a happy smile. There were a couple of incidents, a couple of experiences that I learned that I read, like how other people talked about, like what is it? Different people that you'll meet in the convention, like those that are pushy and obnoxious, or those that are like kind of creepy and just stand there and watch you. I had a couple experiences with that one, but it wasn't as bad as, you know, other people's stories about those people were. So,
well then, besides the, you know, being excited at being at a convention and everything like that, what challenges do you face when you have to get yourself ready for a convention?
Definitely finding someone to watch my kids, because of course my husband, he works full time, and it's like really early hours from like 5 a.m. to, you know, later on. So it's getting someone to watch the kids, and then the next step would be finding the time to work on the material to have ready for the convention. Because again, I'm at home with the kids just about like all day, almost every day. So trying to find time to work on that, because they'll come in through the door like, Mom, look at this, or Mom, what are you doing? And it's not like you can, like, you know, they're 3 and 4, so you can't really, like, you know, close them off and like just stay down here, don't do anything, because you start getting suspicious when it gets too quiet. So yeah, finding someone to watch kids, finding time to prepare for material, finding money to get the material for the convention, and then of course the last thing that would be like transportation. But another thing that I'm learning that's starting to become a little bit intimidating is like the booth setup. Like there's so many like creative people who like have their poles and then their pictures just hanging on the poles, and then they just have their tables, just the buttons are arrayed and it's just beautiful, and then I have my stuff just laying there like, here it is. So it's like intimidating trying to think of something creative about that. So I'm learning a lot. Those are some of the things that's like has me worried about comic conventions that I have to get better at.
Well, it takes practice too, obviously. Yeah. You're not going to get it right off the bat, off the first time. And, there's, I'll send you a video link actually for a couple of creators that I've interviewed. They talked specifically about how to set up a convention, how to set up a table and stuff like that. So it was about 8 minutes long. We'll toss it to you afterwards. That was, Dave Wachter and, oh gosh, I can't remember the other guy's name. Guns of Shadow Valley. Anyhow, they had some really great links and all that stuff, but it's on the YouTube thing. Anyhow, but with everything here, obviously, you're a stay-at-home mom, and you're trying to work on this comic. Do you have the fabled buffer that everyone talks about? Do you have a buffer of comics?
Well, actually, I do. After I used to work for Manga Magazine. Mangamagazine.net, and that taught me how to do a buffer. But I actually do have a buffer. It's starting to dwindle down because of the kids and the snowstorm. But I'm slowly building it back up. Right now, I have chapter 3 online, and I'm working, and I have like the buffer of that already, the whole chapter already made. There's probably like two pages that I have to ink in still. And I'm actually working on chapter 4. I'm on like page 10. Getting that drawn up, so I'm trying to rebuild back up my buffer. So I guess I do kind of have that fabled buffer, but it's slowly dwindling down. So I'm trying to build it back up so I don't have the same crashing that I did like when in my younger years of comicking.
Well, we'll talk about your younger years of comicking then, because how did you get into it?
This is weird. Like how I got into it is a little strange. I used to watch Rainbow Bright. It's like a really old anime show, cartoon show. I don't know who did it, but I used to watch that, and it was on VHS. So I would stop the VHS player and then like draw the picture on the paper, and then with our VHS players, it once you stop it and you take, you don't play it again, it turns the whole thing off. So I had to like turn it back on, stop it, pause it, unpause it. So I got into like comics, like because of the colorfulness of cartoons, and then also Garfield. I love Garfield comics. I remember reading Garfield like when I was 5 years old, and during like our reading time, and what is it? I don't know if it was. Yeah, I think it's preschool, and there was another grade where we could sit on like a beanie bags and listen to classical music, and I'll just be laughing at Garfield. So Garfield's one of the other ones that helped like further pull me into comics, because I would start like drawing the Garfield comics as well. And then probably like the biggest thing that kind of pushed me more so into getting into art is my sister. I got jealous of her because she got a lot of attention for a painting that she did, and I'm the youngest of my I have a lot of sisters, but I'm the youngest of the Chandra and Chanel. So, I wanted attention too. So I decided to draw too. Like, oh, look what I could do. I could draw too. So that further helped me to start doing art more. And I used to I really love reading stories too. I used to love like telling the kids stories in my classroom. And my mom had told me that my teacher used to tell her how the kids just loved my stories and stuff. So I tried like type a novel, and I found out I'm not really good with my words. I stumble over my words. I can't type out my words. I'm bad at spelling. So I was like, okay, let me just draw. I can at least draw. I can demonstrate what I'm trying to say. Like I even talk with my hands. So I'm a lot better with comic. I can tell my story a lot better with comics. So that's like the next step that helped bring me closer to comicking, because I couldn't write, but I knew I can draw. And I knew I could express myself through, my facial emotions better than the words that I say most of the time. Of course, words are important in comics, but just for me, it was easier to demonstrate that through emotions and movement and stuff. So, and that's probably one of the reasons why I tend to favor the Japanese style of comics more than the American style of comics, because like the emotions is just so over exaggerated. I just love it. So But that's basically how I kind of moved into comicking, because I was horrible at writing and I was jealous of my sister and wanted attention. So
so then what is art to you?
Art to me, it's a way of expressing myself, a way of me trying to. I have like so many stories. It's weird. I want to tell a story. I don't know. I don't know why I have stories to tell. It's just I want to tell. I want people to hear my stories, to hear me, to see what I'm saying. Like being the youngest sister, a lot of people, they don't listen to you because you're the baby. So it's like, whatever, you don't know anything. So comics, it's like a vent. People will listen to you if you look at this picture and listening to you through the picture. So it's like a way to vent, a way to express myself, and also just to tell a story. Because I have something to say, just you won't listen, but you will listen through this comic. So that's how art is to me. It's like another lung, I guess, like another way to breathe, another part of me. I can't. It sounds cliche, but it's really important to me.
Well, that's good. That's good. Now, what about then? Are your kids taking up the art gene that you have? Are they like drawing along with you, or?
My middle twin, Isaiah, he likes to draw. My other child likes to smash things together, but my middle twin, he likes to draw. He'll draw like a person's face and everything. I'm like, oh, good job. And then the youngest, she just copies. She's more into like hair, like doing her hair or looking like a princess. So I have a child that draw out of the three that I have.
Well, that'll be the favorite one then.
It's hard to say. Like they have their ups and downs. It's like, I don't know. You guys are my favorite this day, and the other day it's like, you guys are not my favorite right now. You're bad.
Is there anything that we haven't really talked about with yourself or your comic that you want to share with your readers as well as our listeners?
Well, actually, I wanted to talk about if it was okay about like my experience with Manga Magazine, learning how to create a buffer for the importance of a buffer for your comics, the importance of a deadline. Before I got, like, I'm no longer with Manga Magazine right now. I'm venturing out on my own and finding my own path. But before all that, I entered, of course, manga apps. They had a contest on DeviantArt, and I created my story Bottled Prince with that one. And then I ended up finding out about mangamagazine.net, and they I don't think they were around for very long. They might have gotten started about like a couple months before, like maybe in September, maybe a little bit earlier than that. I signed on with them in like November. So I sent them my story, my Bottled Prince story, and of course, I wasn't used to sticking with the deadline. I had my web comics, on SmackGs, and I would post up pages and like wait for like the comic to get all the comments and get all excited. And then, I didn't really have an idea for the story, so I would just like crash and burn and like the story would go on hiatus or whatever. Manga Magazine, that one, being within that company, being a contracted comic artist, that really helped me to like open my eyes to like the importance of having a story, the importance of a deadline. Because when you're telling someone, like if you're talking to someone like face to face and like you just start rambling on about stuff, they get bored of that. And a lot of people, they do that with comics. They want to do all these like big events, like, oh, the boy meets the girl and the rain is falling, and they say, oh, I love you, and that's the story that I want to do, or just a love story about that. It's like, okay, well, what's the point of the story? Like, there has to be something more behind that. Like, why do I care if they love each other? I don't care, something that kind of like pulls the person in, and that's what I had to learn with Bottled Prince. And, of course, with my other comics, and Manga Magazine helped me to learn that, because having to type up this script and have a chapter finished within that month and post it up, I had to start thinking more on what I was going to say within this script. And then that started to make me think like, okay, well, why is that important to say this scene in this script? So that really helped me to get better at that. And then also with the buffering, having chapters pre-made for that, not all the way pre-made, because you might end up changing your mind, or you might think, oh, better for that. I might have maybe 2 or 3 chapters, 2 chapters, ahead of what I have posted online. But the importance of that is it blew my mind, because of course I have my kids, and I would get sick a lot throughout the year, but when I couldn't draw. Some artists, they still have to draw when they're sick, but it would get so bad my hands shaking. So having that buffer helped me to prepare for those times when I was extremely sick, or those times where it's I just couldn't draw. What I tried to draw, it just wouldn't look right. Even flick it still wouldn't look right, or it's just feeling I don't want to do nothing. I just want to be in a rut, if on those days, it's good to have that buffer, because you can use that to be okay, you can use it as cushioning. So when you're having a better day, you can, rebuild that buffer up. And that's what I learned with Manga Magazine. My sister, she was a really close person. She was a close family friend, to where she was a sister to me, and she had died. And it was during, I can't remember which chapter it was in Bottle Prince. You'll probably see the mood change in the chapter. If any of my readers have read it, they'll probably see the sudden mood change. But I had experienced a death in the family, and I didn't want to draw. I didn't draw, but having that buffer helped me to push past that until I was ready to start working again. So I know a couple of people might say, it's work. You do your work again. You do your work, but not everybody can just go and do work. Some people, there are times where you just need to just stop. So it's important to have that buffer, because you're human. Something is going to come up, and there are times where you just can't work. Manga Magazine, they taught me that. That experience with them, it taught me that. So, and I think they're a really good company to start out with rising artists, those that want to try to break into the publishing industry, because it showed me that this isn't really the path that I want to take. I always thought that I wanted to have a big publishing house publish me, or and it's kind of I wanted to show my mom also, here, I'm published, I'm famous, or whatever. But now after being with them, I started to realize that I don't want to do other people's stories. I don't really care about some big company publishing me. I just want to tell my story. I want to tell my story as best as I can, as in a timely manner. So that Manga Magazine, that helped me to understand what I was looking for, because a lot of young artists, they don't really seem to know that either. Because I know my mom, with how we didn't really know a lot of stuff about the art industry. So all we knew is an artist is important when they have a published book. But now I'm starting to learn on my own, that's not for every artist out there. Some people, they still matter even if they are self-published. It's, that one, I don't see that one is better than the other. So
I think it's about how you use social networking, how you brand yourself, how you approach the public in your stuff, and how consistent you are with your comic. Yeah. That's the key. That's how I do it. Even though I don't do a comic, it's the same for the podcast. I put up a note every week, no matter how crappy I feel.
Right, exactly. So, there's so much to say on that, and I don't want to ramble on, but I with Manga Mag, I've learned that the path that I want to take is I'm not interested in someone. I mean, I love money, of course, but I'm not interested in a big publisher going down that path to have a big publisher and then to be kind of locked in. Well, you need to do this deadline. This is the have someone else tell me what my deadline is, and have someone else tell me. I don't like other people tell me what to do. It's well, of course, to a certain level, people will have to tell you what to do, but with my comic, it's I don't want to have that pressure of someone telling me when my deadline is. I want to set my own deadline, and that's what I've been able to do with Love, Love, Fighting. I've had my buffer. I kept my deadline. Some people are upset with my once a week updates, but that's the best pace that I can go, because I page updates, and my comics have crashed and burned. So I don't want the story to crash and burn.
Well, and you don't want it to be burnt out either. That's the key.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people realize how easy it is for an artist to get burned out. Because doing updating 2 pages a week, that's a lot of work. Because you also that's I mean, doing the math for that, you that's taking a chunk out of your buffer. And then even with that, the person who reads that artwork that you might have spent like 8 hours on, they read it in like 10 seconds, and then they're done. And like, oh, hurry up and update! Like it took me 8 hours to do that page. It's like, well, so it's just it's a bunch of frustration with that. So it's like, no, I'm staying with the one update unless some I've seen some authors do like a donation pool. Like if they like a certain amount of money, then they can upload the page, and I think that's really smart for people to do. But I know with me, I don't have that. I'm not that well known to be able to do that right now. I'm trying to show my show my stability in updating once a week, so people know. Well, at least she will be updating each and every.
Well, I wish you the best with this because I know it's very hard being a beginning comic artist. I mean, you've obviously had success in the past, and I find that with this type of comic, it's going to have a very good success in the future. You have taken a unique character and you've showcased a style that hasn't been seen in a while. So I think that's perfect for showing that, hey, look, hey, I have something unique, yay.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
And best of luck with your next convention. I look forward to hearing back from you about how that went. And you should post up some pictures as well. You got to take pictures when you're on that side of the table.
I won't be so camera shy. I'll try to take more pictures.
Well, take pictures of people passing by that pick up your book. It's like, hey, look, they picked it up. All right. Well, that ends this episode of TGT. And, thank you very much, Sharean. And of course, what's the website we can go to get your comic?
It's smorshitastudio.com. s-morshitastudio.com.
And I'll be posting that on your podcast page as well here off the main website. And, I'm glad your kids didn't run through or anything like that. So
I was worried, but I'm glad.
And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a great year coming up with you as well. And, of course, love fighting.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.